In a recent issue of Connected Car magazine, we met with Conjure and learned a little bit about that company. We're now here with them in Las Vegas, and I'm talking to Chris Tingley. Chris, what is it that Conjure is presenting here? And perhaps when we've talked a little bit about that, we can see a demo that you're showing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 3 or 4 months ago, we formed a partnership with Adetto, who are a security expert. And we started to create a product because we found that we were both looking at sort of solving the same problem in the automotive space about managing usage of vehicles. So not only for access and starting vehicles and remote start and things like that, but also how those vehicles are used when we're no longer owning our own vehicles or driving our own vehicles. How do you manage how that vehicle is used and how do you share access to that vehicle and all those sort of things. So the products that we've been working on together is called Keystone, and it's a policy-based vehicle access system.
Okay. And what sort of respective skills have each company brought to this partnership?
So, as I say, Adetto have been going for many, many years in the kind of cybersecurity world. Yes. So we're utilising a number of software components and their engineering expertise around the cryptography and around the security side of things, whereas Conjure are looking more at the kind of user experience, how these things are actually integrated into the vehicle itself, the kind of user experience of the mobile application, and of course how it's used inside the car as well.
We'll see the demo in a moment, but what are you actually trying to enable with this system?
So we're trying, at the moment, the first thing we're looking at doing is moving it into OEMs who want to provide keyless systems for their current consumers. Yes. And then the second phase of this will be how do we work with those OEMs who are building vehicle as a service models, and how then do we enable those OEMs and those service providers to manage access to the vehicles.
I take it a lot of those discussions are already taking place. Are the OEMs showing a lot of interest in this?
Yeah, so during the last couple of days we've been demonstrating this to quite a number of OEMs, and we've had some really positive feedback.
If an OEM was to say to you today, yep, we want to go with that, would they be able to implement it fairly quickly, or is it going to take years to make this happen, or what? I know the OEMs work fairly slowly. But yeah,
I mean, it's something that we can do fairly fast. So we've been building a number of software components which are sort of the basis of Keystone. But obviously, individual OEMs have individual requirements and have different ways that their vehicles are used for their types of consumers. So there's always going to be an amount of customization that we do for each OEM.
Okay, great. Well, I think it's probably time that we saw the demo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, I want to introduce the new Keystone solution for managing a digital asset for automotive. So I pick up my new car, in this case, a nice little McLaren, and I get this card, which is effectively the root key to my car. I go up, I tap it on the dash, and it lets me pair my phone with my vehicle. So now my phone has a full key to my vehicle. These keys are policy-based, so as the vehicle owner, I have a fully open policy. If it was my children or valet, it would be more restrictive policy. So with this key, I can turn it on, my interior lights come on, my key is now connected to my vehicle. And I can come over, I can hop in, and I can go for a drive. Because the vehicle is mine, and I have a fully open policy, I can drive on the freeway, I can drive on interior streets, I can do whatever speed I want, up to the speed limit, of course. So I'm going to head off and go for a drive to the restaurant. So I'm going to take the highway to the restaurant and meet my daughter for dinner. So when I get to the restaurant, obviously I do not want to give the valet my mobile phone. Not only does it have a full key to my vehicle, but it's also my phone. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my valet key. Similar kind of card. Now this key has a valet policy on it. So the valet policy says you're geo-locked to the area that you're in, let's say 500 meters, and you're also speed limited. So you can't go more than, let's say, 10 miles an hour. Also, you can't open the trunk, you can't open the glove box, things that you shouldn't be doing as a valet. So the valet goes up and gets in the car, and the IVI says, welcome valet, and you're in valet mode. So the first thing the valet does is, he wants to look around, so he decides to open the trunk. The vehicle doesn't let him do it. The vehicle says you're not allowed. But the valet is allowed to drive. Obviously, he has to move the car. So he hops in. The problem is, for the valet, the car is speed limited and geo-locked. So he's not going joyriding with his buddies. He's only going to put the car in the proper parking spot. So when I pick up the car, my daughter sees it, she likes it, she would like to take it for a drive. So at that point, I can create a key for her, but that key is based on, she's a teenager, I don't want her driving fast, but I do want to be able to drive it. So my daughter is going to create a request for a new key, and then I can create a key for her. So that key has her name, it's only good for a couple of days, it's speed limited, she's only allowed to go to certain places, and she's not allowed to open the trunk. Maybe I have a gift in there for her. So when I send that key, my daughter gets it, now she's allowed to drive.